9:01.
9:01. All right, let's get the party started. Do you want to go ahead and record, John? Or are we recording this?
We are recording.
Okay. Excuse me. So I want to welcome everyone to the Friday, December 17th, 9 a.m. special Public Arts Commission meeting. John, can you do a roll call and establish a quorum?
Yep. Chair Waldman,
Here.
Vice Chair King,
Here.
Commissioner Corrigan,
Here.
Commissioner Couture,
Here.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Here.
and Commissioner Moore.
Here.
All commissioners are present.
All right. We have one item on the agenda, but before we go into that, John, with the special meeting, do we ask if there's comments from the public that are not on the agenda?
So we only take comments on items that are on the agenda.
For a special meeting?
Yep.
Okay. So let me go ahead and ask if there are any comments from the public for items on the agenda.
Let me scroll through the extensive list of public. I am not seeing anyone raising their hand.
It must be the 9 a.m. start time. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the agenda then. Item 1, community art engagement proposal from our subcommittee, who has sent us as part of the packet. They've sent their proposal. I'll let the subcommittee talk to that.
Hey, Janet, Janet or Jenna, do you want to walk us through this?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So basically the purpose of this proposal is to talk about a community art engagement idea that we came up with. It's called Everybody is an Artist. Of course, that's a name that we can change if the commission feels that you want to come up with a different name. But if we could go to the next slide, please. So one of the things that's on our commission website is basically that one of the things that we want to do as a commission, let me get rid of this, is we want to increase public awareness about visual arts. And so the purpose of this particular project was to come up with an idea where we could have an activity that promotes visual art appreciation and also inspires Los Altos residents to be creative and show them that everyone can actually be an artist. And it introduces residents to our new beautiful community center art room. Next slide. So here's the idea. And this is actually something that I've done before, so I'm familiar with it. And it's super fun. What we were thinking was an in-person paint session where an artist comes and teaches and guides 20 to 25 resident participants to create a painting on a canvas that they can take home. It would be located in the Birch Room, which Jenna has worked with the representatives for the community center to ensure that they're available and able to host us. The date that we're targeting is February 5th, and it would either be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. So roughly a 2-hour session. And the invitees would be adults and teen residents of Los Altos. We could do this in the future if you wanted to. We could arrange it so that it was for younger residents, but for now we are just considering this to be kind of a test and a pilot and focusing on our older population. The artist would be someone from Paint the Town, and I have a hyperlink there for the website so you can go and take a look at it yourself if you haven't already. Next slide. So I'm going to walk you through some options for different kinds of paintings that we could focus on. We do have to pick one painting, and that's what the artist will be prepared to teach us how to draw or paint. We can also, if we want, I know Commissioner Walk basically was interested in coming up with a painting that reflected Los Altos. And they're willing to do that. They could come up with a custom image, or we could send them an image that we want, maybe of an apricot tree or something like that reflects Los Altos, and they would work with us at no charge to try to turn it into something that they could use for this project. Next slide. So the next 3 slides are basically just examples of the kind of art that they have used for other sessions, other projects, other community events. And you'll see that they're actually kind of beautiful, and amazingly enough, if you have no experience in art, you will actually be able to create something that looks very familiar and very similar to these drawings or paintings. Next slide. And here are just more examples. You know, we have flowers and trees and, you know, a Hawaii scene. Next slide. Just more examples of the things. You have poppies there in the field. Next slide. So, and you'll recognize some of these paintings. They're, you know, one in the upper left is probably very familiar to all of you. They have you know, a picture of Seattle at the bottom, San Francisco on the bottom as well. So next slide. So here's what it costs. So they will do this in 2 different ways. In person, which would be $38 per person plus a 3% credit card fee. That's all inclusive. So what you get is the artist will bring the canvas, the paint, the brushes, an apron. Participants do not get to keep the paint or, you know, the brushes or the aprons. They get to keep the piece that they create. Paint the Town also does a virtual session, $55 per person plus sales tax for painting kits. And the reason they charge the sales tax for the painting kits is because they actually end up selling the kits to the participants. It is a virtual session plus the 3% credit card fee. The price includes 2 hours of painting time with the instructor. As I mentioned, all the supplies. The in-person participants, as I mentioned, also get to keep the canvas panel, and the instructor arrives 30 minutes early to set up. So those are the options for how we could do this. And the next slide is our recommendation. So we thought that we would do this for 20 to 25 residents in person, not virtual. And I think the reason that we're thinking that is because logistically to try to set this up virtually would be very hard and time consuming. And I think that we were thinking that we want to first test this out and see, you know, how the in-person session goes. It will be a lot easier to manage. The estimated cost for that would be, you know, depending on if it's 20 people, it'd be $760. If it's 25, $950. We would invite residents via, you know, the city communications platforms. We would need to finalize an attendee list by about January 22nd. If the commission decides to do this, we have to pay the town a $160 deposit to reserve that date. And so the question for all of you is, you know, should we do this first of all? And then secondly, if we do decide to do this, should the commission pay for the cost, contribute to the cost, or should residents simply pay the $38? So Hillary or Jenna, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you did a great job covering everything.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think, if I may speak first, I think it's a great idea. Let me just throw it to John. I mean, I'm actually okay if the commission picks up the full cost, but let me ask John, if we didn't pick up the cost or a percentage of the cost, would Parks and Rec, would they be the ones handling the registration and gathering of monies? Are we allowed to even do something like that?
Well, wouldn't so first of all, I would recommend that the city not cover the full costs.
I think there should be a nominal fee so people show up.
Well, and I think, so, you know, the deposit, it should be, you know, putting down the deposit should be fine. But having, you know, I would say, I forget, how much was it? $38. $38. I think, 3%. Yeah, so I think the participants should cover that cost. In terms of who collects it, would it not go to the Paint the Town folks? Would they be the ones that would be in charge of collecting the fee?
Well, I think you're saying if we were going to subsidize it, right? Maybe charge residents like $10 and then pay the remainder. Could we do something like that? So it's a little bit more appealing.
What is if we don't subsidize it, how are we drawing people in? Because there are other Paint the Towns. I mean, there's one at Rancho. So if we don't I think there needs to be a draw. I would love it if we could pay for the whole thing.
But I agree with Monica that then you have to hold people accountable for showing up. Yeah.
A nominal fee would be good. Yeah.
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 Agreed.
So
I feel like a 50-50 would be the best way. That way, we're trying the project out, but we're also making the applicants or the participants actually have skin in the game so they show up.
that's a good
Hmm.
Yeah.
So then would Paint the Town collect the money, and then how do we get the list of people registered from Paint the Town? Because you said by January 22nd, we need the roster.
I think the way that I had at least discussed it with them is that we would collect the money and we would be the single point of contact for paying them,
Okay.
as opposed to them having to deal with, random people. Because if we're going to try to manage this and keep it to just 20, 25 people, we're going to have to manage that. We're going to have a waiting list, I think, if it's popular.
Mm.
I'm guessing that we could probably, I could probably talk with our recreation department about if they can collect the fee.
Okay.
Because they've got a whole thing set up for classes, so.
Right.
I do think, well, let's when we finish up talking about the fee.
Maybe
Do-
charge like 15 or something, or 10.
10 or 15, yeah.
I'm going to throw a fly in the ointment, which goes back, it'll go back to the charging. With our newest COVID variant, we might have to switch it to virtual so that we might be picking up a larger amount, and then have them maybe go to Parks and Rec to pick up kits or something.
I think that introduces complexity that I would think if we, I mean, I just don't anticipate that we're going to have to go virtual entirely. And I think if we have to do that, then I think we probably should postpone it or cancel it. Because yeah.
We'll need someone to ensure, and Janet, you're probably pretty good at going over contracts, that there is some kind of cancellation policy, or, we forfeit a certain amount of money, but or we're allowed to reschedule just in case.
No, for sure, we can do that. I think that they've been really super easy to work with, so I think that they would be open to that, especially given the pandemic issues. They'd be okay with postponing as long as we give them notice.
Can we mandate that attendees are vaccinated or at least have like a negative COVID test?
I don't think we should do that.
Okay.
I mean, then we're getting into the health space.
Yeah. Right.
Well, in the rec center will have to follow the
Right.
city.
Yeah.
So that will be, they kind of have that covered. So
Okay.
I would like to have a Los Altos image. I think it would be nice if it were specific to Los Altos. We can, if you want, I'll Google images of the orchard or something. We can at City Hall. But I think it would be, it makes it about Los Altos versus, anywhere else. That's something I feel strongly about.
Me too.
Will that be a big enough draw for people that they'll want to participate?
We'll
'Cause I was
find out.
thinking, yeah, it's true. I was thinking with the February 5th date, something tying into Valentine's Day, if it was a younger crowd would be appropriate, but I don't think teens and adults may want a Valentine's Day picture.
Well, like we did it through the one at Rancho around Valentine's, and I think it was like a couples thing. You did self-portraits of each other. Actually, we did it virtually. You go and pick up your thing, and you did portraits of each other. So we actually may be competing with that around that time. But that's why I think maybe if we do it Los Altos, it's a little bit different. It is kind of a Los Altos keepsake. So I don't know. If people don't think that's important, I'm willing to cede that. But I want to kind of make it unique to Los Altos. So.
I mean, we could maybe push it out to March and kind of introduce like a spring theme, maybe like something that's blossoming in Los Altos. I don't know.
Because I was looking at the picture of the poppies, and I was thinking, even in February, you're just on the cusp of spring.
You could do California poppies, yeah.
But I don't know if I don't know which would be the bigger draw, like a flowery spring theme versus like if we advertise this to the seniors, of which I am classified as one. Would they prefer an image of Los Altos? They might. I don't
think the seniors would.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, I like Jenna's idea for spring blossom. I mean, I'm thinking that if people are going to paint something, they may want to hang it in their home. I don't know if they would. Maybe the seniors would like something that says Los Altos or is focused on Los Altos, but I'm thinking spring and poppies. I mean, that might be a more broad interest. It also gives us more time if we move it to March.
Except for poppies don't come out in the spring.
Mine do. Mine are blooming. I've got poppies coming up now. It's frightening.
Ah. When do they come up? I thought they are spring flowers.
They are spring flowers.
Yeah. Could we say spring in Los Altos? Put the two together.
That's a great idea.
Maybe if they could do some kind of maybe image of Los Altos with some poppies. Because I think just painting poppies might not be, I mean, I wouldn't mind a poppy picture of my house, but it might not be enough of a challenge to paint them. I don't know.
Well, I think for people who don't paint, though, I think that's plenty challenge.
Okay, okay.
And poppy, I mean, I kind of love like the orchard, but I think poppies is such a California thing. That might be a good time for people can feel, don't have to feel tied to Los Altos. It can feel kind of affection about that. So it might be good to push it back to that. You know, it's fine to do that in February too, I think too, though.
I think so, because it's usually pretty cold and dreary in February, and a little bit of, you know, bright colors is something to look forward to.
Yeah. I would say maybe let's try it for February, and if we are slow to get signups, maybe we push it back or something.
Has anybody looked at the school calendars to know if February 5th is a good day? I have no clue.
It's not break. It's in between.
It's the weekend. Yeah.
It is not. That's not Super Bowl Sunday too, is it?
No, it's
Yes, it is. It
It's-
should be.
it's the day before.
It's the
Okay,
day
that's
before,
okay then.
the Saturday.
I think that's okay because it's after MLK, before ski week. So I think that's kind of a good time.
Okay, I'll just confirm that it's still available. And if it's not, we should probably have a backup date. So
I think I would go for the later afternoon one too, so you get people who are coming after church and brunch.
Well,
Oh,
but
the one
that's Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe
But
morning.
I think
I
that
think the morning.
1 to
Saturday's
3 is.
soccer, right, Jenna?
what was that?
Saturday's soccer.
Yeah, but it's early.
Well,
Like 9
softball.
a.m. Yeah.
But I think 1 to 3 is better because it's after lunch. I think 11 to 1, some people eat lunch.
That's
you know,
true.
12-ish.
Yeah.
Well, since it's teenagers, I think we're okay because 1 to 3 is nap time.
Yes, true.
So who was it who made contact with the rec department to make sure the day was open?
I did.
Okay, so they have no problem staffing on a Saturday, I take it?
No,
Okay.
they suggested it, and that's what we were going for too. But I haven't confirmed that date yet because I wanted to wait until we had a meeting. So if by chance that date is taken already, I feel like should we pick a backup date just in case?
Maybe we should pick 2 backup dates only because we have to make sure the Paint the Town people are available as well.
Right, that too. Yeah.
John, is there any way you could put a calendar up on the screen?
Probably. Let me
Take a look.
stretching my abilities now.
The following Saturday is the 12th.
That might be a winter break though, right?
Winter break, I think, is the 19th through the 26th, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct. It starts with the
President's
President's Day.
President's Day is the 21st.
I'm out of town on that weekend, so not that I have to be there, but I wouldn't be able to attend.
Maybe we could shoot for March 5th then?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You seen a calendar now?
Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you, John. Okay, so I see March 5th, Saturday. Why don't could we do 2 backups? One, excuse me, March 5th, one March 12th. They're both Saturdays, and I don't think that they conflict with
Any
vacation. Yeah,
And 1 to 3 time slot, we're thinking, right?
yeah.
And
Okay.
these dates exactly for now?
For
This would-
hosting the event.
To host the event in place, right?
And I think the appeal too will be that it's subsidized, you know? Everyone likes something that's
Yes.
a reduced cost.
Such a deal, such a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Are we allowed to serve like food and beverages, or is that just like, should we not even enter that territory?
I don't think we should.
Okay.
Kind of complicated. We already have to make sure everybody gets their palette and their paint and their.
Yeah.
juice and all that.
I did notice it said 30 minutes to set up for the artist. I assume the artist helps clean up, but I guess one or more of us will help clean up as well. The joys
And then
of-
we can take pictures with people with their
And put it
artwork.
on.
and post it.
Exactly. On our future social media site.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, which is a draw. So I think that would be great. Invite the town crier, all that. So yes,
Yeah,
it's a good way to
yeah,
get
and-
people in there. So do we need to vote on this, John, or what's our next kind of step here?
Yeah, I would suggest a vote just to, I would say to approve the subcommittee moving forward and working on the event.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that the outreach subcommittee move forward on the Paint the Town subsidized, get people in the community center event for this winter, spring.
I'll second the motion. John, do you want to take the vote?
Yep. I will. Chair Waldman,
Yes.
Vice Chair King,
Yes.
Commissioner Corrigan. Janet, you were, couldn't hear you. Yes. Commissioner Couture,
Yes,
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes,
and Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
This passes unanimously.
Can I ask, John, if you check with the Recreation Department and they cannot do the handling of the money for us, do you have any suggestions? Do we need another special meeting?
I would take what the action and direction that the commission just gave as authority to work with the subcommittee to come up
To
with.
find a way. Okay.
we didn't have a date with the proposal.
We do, February 5th.
February 5th.
It wasn't mentioned, was it?
It was on this, yeah.
This one? Oh, yeah, it was, but I didn't. Okay.
Okay.
And then should we,
All right.
really quickly, should we confirm the subsidized amount, or is that details we can work out later? Do we need
That's a good
to
idea.
unanimously agree on that, or?
I think we're looking at a 50-50 split, but
Okay. It's like
I think-
38 plus the credit card fee. So should we do like 15, 20? I
I
don't
would
know.
love to keep it at like 15.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
I think once you get a little bit higher, people start thinking no, but 15 is so reasonable. So
Does that work for everyone?
yes. Okay.
and then as John said, if there's some issue with even that, we leave it to the subcommittee to come up with
we'll figure it out.
some way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good job. Yep.
All right. John, for a special meeting, am I supposed to ask if there's any other things not on the agenda, or we just skip
Nope.
that?
We just
Okay.
covered the agenda item, and so we're done.
Great.
Can I make one last comment that I have here on the title, because Janet did say we could rename it. Could we call, instead of everybody, could we call it everyone?
Yep.
Is an artist? Because I think everybody sounds a little,
Everyone.
I don't know, informal.
Okay, all right. that's
Okay. I like the title though, otherwise. It's a good one that we can work with all year too. So we're
Yeah.
Oh,
going
yeah,
forward.
that's great. So I guess what I'll do is I'll wait for Jenna to confirm that February 5th is still available. And then I'll let Paint the Town know that we're going to reserve that date. Is it okay if I put down the deposit so that we lock them in? Or which I do?
Why don't you and I talk offline? Because it'll be easier if I can just put it on
Okay,
for these accounts, just so then we're not having to try to reimburse you and.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
And John, for those of us not on the subcommittee, once the dates and everything are locked in, whatever those dates are, you'll email the rest of us.
I'll let you know.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I think we're almost done in record time. It's 9:26. Time to call it a day. Good work.
All right.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job, Janet and Jenna. Bye.